Because he's special, we bring you the Ogie Alcasid specials.
When I was a little boy, I used to copy Rico J. Puno. He was different because he obviously looked very Pinoy, but he had soul. He had R&B in his blood, which is it's just like a very strange combo at the time. Kasi nung time na yan, usong-uso yung balladeers talaga, you know? Basil Valdez, Celeste Legazpi, these are really romantic singers. So someone doing this kind of thing, it was kind of new. So it appealed to me a lot. When I started copying him sa mga family reunions, syempre pinapakanta na ako. The Rico Puno of the Alcacids. That's how I got into it. And then when I was younger, I was part of a musical called Oliver with a Twist ang pangalan in LaSalle. Kasi medyo chipanga lang yung production namin, kaya Oliver with a Twist. Yun, so I got into it because I enjoyed it. I was with the LaSalle Glee Club in high school. I was with the Kundirana. It's a high school singing group from LaSalle Green Hills. The likes of Randy Santiago, Gary Valenciano, Louis Ocampo, Mon Faustino, Mel Villena, all of these great musicians we have today, they all came from that group. I wanted to be a lawyer. We had lawyers everywhere. My grandfather was a lawyer. My father was a lawyer, and my uncle was a lawyer. It was just the thing that we did, you know. Singing was like a hobby. And in fact, when I started singing, my mom was like, "Are you serious about this thing? You know, you're studying in the university, tapos magiging singer ka, parang weird, no?" Then I realized after Kundirana and after doing jingles also after I graduated from high school, talagang gusto ko. Then I decided it would be music for me. I used to sing in a place called Circus sa SM North EDSA sa second floor every Monday. And that place was owned by Boss Vic Del Rosario, who owns Viva Records. So he would frequent that place and see who the next hottest thing would be. And that was me. He said, "Would you like to cut a record?" I said, "Sure." That was everybody's dream at that time. That was established, I think, 1987 or 88. During that time, Viva Records was not doing albums yet. So the first record that I released was a 45. Is that little record that had a huge hole in the middle. But so since they didn't really do albums, it was Octo Arts at that time that was already doing albums. So I said, maybe I should try to go to Octo Arts. When I moved to Octo Arts, then I released my first album. I even have my 33. That's the vinyl. That's how I got my first recording gig. At that time, I think gold was like 20,000 copies, and platinum was 40,000 copies. So to reach that kind of a sale, that's a lot. It really shocked me. It surprised me. Sabi ko, what? But I realized that, wow, I guess this is it for me, really. This is what God really had intended for me to do in my life. I got the gold record award in GMA Super Show. It was surreal talaga. Sarap ng feeling. And during that time, yung gold record na bibigay sa'yo is the actual 45 and the actual 33, which they obviously they paint gold. Kung paandarin ko yung gold record na yun, I'm sure andar yun. Kaya alam, may gold na pintura. Once you started recording, and then once your album is in the market, you will do your rounds. With no orientation, you just go, "Oh, I'm in Bacolod and I'm singing in a little mall." Wala pang SM nun eh. And then we go to other places. There was a place in Cubao. Ali Mall, of course, had a record store. Typically, ganun lang. The fun thing about our time was that there was no network war. So you could go to all of the channels and promote your record. That's why you had a solid hit, because all the channels would be playing your music. And you know, during that time, the spinner would be your best friend, because the spinner is responsible for creating any mood in any show. So for example, Vilma Santos or Nora Honor or Alma Moreno would be talking about someone, and then they'll play "Nandito Ako." I don't know if you remember that, guys, but that was the norm. And then ang laking bagay nun. So yung spinner, bibigyan mo yan na siopaw, o bibigyan mo ng konting ano naman dyan, sandwich. And you know, they appreciate these things. I'm talking about the spinner and the networks. And of course the DJs, your life depended on them. If they didn't like you, that's it for you, man. At the end of your career. And nowadays, I still see the DJs of old, and they've become something else. So it's nice. I made friends with all these DJs then at that time, and they really are very so important in your career.